Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. Nonprofit organization THCF, or the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, and its affiliated political committee campaign for the restoration and regulation of hemp, or CRRH. We've got a great show for you tonight. We have a clip from the British movie The Magic. Mr. Tim Pate is here to help co-host, and we have musical guests, Pass Margot, who are introducing a new CD this week, and played our Hempstock Festival, so you'll see them there come September 12th and 13th. But before we get to Pass Margot, let's bring on the infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves.
Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. Nonprofit organization THCF, or the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, and its affiliated political committee campaign for the restoration and regulation of hemp, or CRRH. We've got a great show for you tonight. We have a clip from the British movie The Magic. Mr. Tim Pate is here to help co-host, and we have musical guests, Pass Margot, who are introducing a new CD this week, and played our Hempstock Festival, so you'll see them there come September 12th and 13th. But before we get to Pass Margot, let's bring on the infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves.
Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. Nonprofit organization THCF, or the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, and its affiliated political committee campaign for the restoration and regulation of hemp, or CRRH. We've got a great show for you tonight. We have a clip from the British movie The Magic. Mr. Tim Pate is here to help co-host, and we have musical guests, Pass Margot, who are introducing a new CD this week, and played our Hempstock Festival, so you'll see them there come September 12th and 13th. But before we get to Pass Margot, let's bring on the infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves. And our guests, Pass Margot. I'm going to pass something else while you're watching this.
Oh, right on.
When I was gone, man, the world was fun. Pleasure about the ton, I was comfortably stunned. But I owed the bank, and I couldn't collect my ties. So the note was sold and the bank foreclosed. So now I Yes, and now I still, and I no longer care how the humans fare. Now that I have to wait, now that I can't bleed, worry about my needs and live off greed. Oh, and I was gone, man, the world was nuts. Yes, and I was crushed, you know. But I wanted more pearls for the door, so I took a loan and I mortgaged my home. Oh, and by the way, you know your prayers don't pay, so I got a call and I lost it all. And if you go uptown, in the park I found, sitting to dream I want to waste my time away.
Thank you. Pass, Margot. We'll have them back at the end of the show. How are you doing this week, Tim?
I'm good. I appreciated that energy. You know, usually it's me putting out the energy, so that was nice. I get to sit back and enjoy somebody else's energy. Thanks, guys. That's good.
Good change of pace here. We've got you on the panel, and we're accepting phone calls. Tim and I will take your phone calls on ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, and helping medical marijuana patients through the top of the hour.
Now, lately we've been having Russ and Madeline on the show a lot.
They're at the legal the legal clinic from the National Organization for the Form of Marijuana Law. Their legal council's meeting in Aspen. We're sponsoring that actually, but I'm staying home. We got family things this week, so we're staying busy.
Well, you got graduation things.
We got a graduation going and family visiting. Yeah.
Yeah. When my sons graduated, that was a big moment for me. I felt really proud about that.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah, good for them.
It is.
Good for them.
So it is the 5th of June, 2009, and if you're watching sometime after 8 o'clock Pacific time on the 5th of June, you can call us at 503-288-4448 and join in the TV show. You can call your friends all around the country and tell them, tune into our website at hemp.org, and you can watch the TV show live in streaming format through Ustream TV. That's the letter U, STREAM.TV. Which is neat.
I know, it really is. In fact, we've been getting a lot more contacts, and the show seems to be getting calls from Connecticut and Texas and Arizona and
all over the place,
which is outside of the norm for many years.
We
glad to see that.
Back on Pot TV after an absence of a couple of years when our video server went down, and Pot TV is Mark Emery's site up in Vancouver, BC. It accompanies his Cannabis Culture magazine. Now, Mark, it appears, has agreed to take a plea bargain offer. Mark had been charged by the United States government with selling marijuana seeds and as a conspirator in cultivating thousands upon thousands of marijuana plants. So they were seeking to put him away for a long, long time. And his lawyer told him that they never turned down an extradition request from the United States, and he wasn't going to be the first one. So he started bargaining. He was facing up to life imprisonment.
Right, exactly.
You know? So he's trying to get it bargained down to 8. And so right now, his lawyer is asking for 3 to 6 years, and the prosecutor is asking for 8 to 11 years. And then also they're trying to get his case moved to, well, if he's incarcerated, at least have his incarceration moved to Canada.
Right.
And so those are some of the points that are being negotiated now in the case of Mark Emery, and we really feel sorry for Mark Emery. He's done a lot to help our movement in many, many ways, and his magazine, Cannabis Culture, has been a beacon out there, and his political activism career is inspirational. Really. So we're hoping that we can legalize marijuana long before even the shorter sentences begin to run out for Mr. Emery. So we're going to be attempting to do that here in Oregon. You know, we got interviewed a little bit about our move to try to get the legislature to legally tax and regulate marijuana. You know, down in California, Representative Amianto of San Francisco had introduced a bill to legalize and tax it, and it looks like we have our bill that we've been working on for years prepared for, you know, maybe introduction in the special session. We'll see. It probably won't go anywhere in the special session, though. So we're looking at putting it on the ballot, and we're getting ready to do that. We're going to do a little bit more polling and then move forward.
One way or another. You'll hear about it soon, it sounds like.
I think we're going to at least have a vote to tax and regulate here in Oregon in 2010. And, stay tuned, and we'll be excitingly announcing that in the coming months.
Well, you know, if we do it right in this state, it will become, like the Oregon medical marijuana laws, a model for the rest of the country.
Exactly.
And
as Oregon's law to decriminalize marijuana has been.
Exactly. I feel like that we have a lot of intelligent people here and some good track record, and we can base that, use that as a strong base and move forward. I do believe that we can do this.
And the Obama Justice Administration's been saying that they're going to return to the principles of the Brandeis decision in the 1920s, saying that states are laboratories for democracy.
States' rights issues.
That can experiment with new ways to solve old problems. And obviously the real solution to marijuana prohibition is taxing and regulating the market, allowing adults to grow their own, allowing industrial hemp to return to its rightful place in our economy, and obviously helping medical marijuana patients.
I feel like there's along with that, we have to have some corresponding let up in the laws. I mean, we have a friend who's facing prison here very soon. He's got a report in on July the 6th.
Yeah, Eddie Lepp down in Southern California. He's facing 10 years down there.
Yes,
and Mark Emery is looking at the same thing. It's just outrageous that they let robbers and everyone loose after such shorter periods of time, these corporate criminals. But marijuana cultivators who are saving a plant that's going to save this planet are being persecuted and thrown in prison. We have our first caller. Hello, caller. You're on our show.
Hello.
Good evening.
Howdy.
Hi, I'm calling about the tax. They want to tax medical marijuana.
No, we don't want to tax medical marijuana. There has been some talk about that. The legislature had a bill that would legalize the sales through dispensaries and tax it at $95 an ounce. But we killed that bill in the Oregon legislature.
Yeah.
Okay, because constitutionally you can't tax medically prescribed drugs.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so I was just wondering if they do legalize it for recreational use, and if you have a medical card, would you be exempt from that tax?
Yes.
I would think so.
Under our proposal, you would certainly be exempt from that, and medical marijuana would be sold at cost to pharmacies, free of tax.
I see. Right. Okay. Well, that's the question I had, and you cleared it.
Sure, and our bill also would leave the Medical Marijuana Act in place, so if the court should have to overturn our proposal, then the OMMA would still be there to help patients as it is today.
Right, good. Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. The only other laws that would be left intact would be those against people driving under the influence of alcohol. So, I mean, not alcohol, marijuana, driving under the influence or while intoxicated. I always get those two confused.
Well,
depends on the state you're in.
That's true.
In terms of the terminology. If you're out there and you have a question for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. 48.
Now, last week you announced that we were going to have our 500th show coming up on the same weekend as the Seattle Hemp Fest.
That's right. Our 500th show, I think, is August 14th. Seattle Hemp Fest is the August 15th and 16th.
Yes, it is.
So that'll be an interesting juxtaposition
It will.
there.
Well, we always do that every year after year.
Yeah.
We come down here, we play, and then we hurry up there.
I know, it's a madhouse.
It is a
We
madhouse.
always miss the party. They have the big party on Friday night, and of course we're here doing our
I used to catch
TV.
those until I came on this show, and
know.
now I can't hit those parties anymore because I'm on the show.
Life's
That's
hard.
okay. Life's hard.
We
Life's hard.
sacrifice for you.
That's
folks.
right.
We're all
That's right.
volunteers here too. Just
That's
so
true.
you know.
And
we have a caller.
Let's take the caller.
Hey, caller.
Hello.
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 Hi. This is Brent from Kentucky,
Hello.
Welcome.
and we have a really hard time getting a lot of support down here. People are real afraid to come out.
That's right.
I've been
The
in
police
Kentucky.
are really hard on people.
I've been in Kentucky on a number of occasions back in the early 90s. I went there in October of 1990 and rode from Lexington to Frankfort, the state capital, and on to Louisville in a car powered on hemp seed oil with Willie Nelson and Gatewood Galbraith, who was running for governor at the time. The whole caravan of cars following after this red Mercedes station wagon. Then I was there on June 1st of 1996 when Woody Harrelson planted 4 hemp seeds in Lee County and was subsequently arrested and later acquitted by a jury of Kentuckians. So I've been there a few times, and you've got a proud hemp movement. Kentucky was for a long time the #1 producer of industrial hemp for 100 years up until its prohibition.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's another thing. Our Senator Mitch McConnell.
Oh, he's the worst.
He said that he doesn't support hemp because he's afraid that criminals are going to use it as a drug.
Well, Mitch McConnell is a criminal. He backed the corporate banking fiasco. He's led our country into the dirt. And in my mind, Mitch McConnell should be the one being punished if anybody's going to be punished.
We tried really hard to get him out this past year.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out.
Last week we had this great guy, a new guy from Tennessee, Cohen. We had a video clip of him dressing down the FBI director, telling him that, marijuana never killed anybody and that
great.
It's perfectly safe and should be taxed and regulated and is not a gateway drug. So maybe we can find more.
I saw that clip.
Yeah, maybe we can get more politicians like him in power. I'll tell you, we get more people like him or Gatewood Galbraith in office there in the South in Kentucky, Tennessee. Things will start to change real quickly.
Yeah, well, I figure that if things start changing in Tennessee, they're not going to hesitate here too much longer.
You're probably right. There's a definite rivalry between those two states.
Exactly. But I just wanted to thank you guys for kind of leading the way and making everybody aware.
You're welcome.
Well, we're glad to do it. Thanks for watching.
There are people down here that watch your show.
Cool.
All right.
Well, you're our first call from Kentucky, so we're going to have to put a dot on that state now.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for calling. Have your friends
Good
tell
night.
them we're on too. Appreciate it. If you're out there watching somewhere out in the country, it's hard enough for people in town to get through, but maybe you'll be lucky. Give it a try. The phone number is 503-288-4448.
We were starting to talk about the festival season because the Seattle Hemp Fest is coming up, and I've been on the core staff for some years now. And,
Right.
I know that we have over 700 bands have applied to play the 5 different stages. This year we're also going to have a new comedy stage we've never had before.
I understand that the scope of the festival's expanded. It had only taken a mile and a quarter.
And we're
now it's going to be a mile and 3/4. There's an extra half mile of ground there.
And more
added.
booths, bigger stages.
You watch from one end to the other, you've walked 5 miles, you're exhausted by that point.
That's right. That's
Pushing
why
your
we
way
have to do
through
it to 2 days.
all those
You take a half a
sweaty
day
hippies.
on one, a half a day on another section, a half a day on another section, and then by the end you're
that's
tired
true.
and you sit and you listen to the bands.
I get it's a big event. It's a huge.
It has-
last year there was over 300,000 people there.
There had to have been. I know by 3 o'clock on Saturday of the first day,
I heard they shut the gates for a while.
130,000 census count.
Packed.
So, and that was at 3 o'clock, and it stays open till 8.
Well, with the extra acreage, there'll probably be a correspondingly large increase in attendance.
I think so.
Other people won't get turned away for a couple hours at the gate.
That's when we have the North Gate too. This year, we're really pushing to get people to come to the North Gate, and we've organized
more up in the industrial center and away from the piers.
And we have better parking up that way too. There's a lot of parking available in that area, so we feel like there's going to be some serious improvements. If you want to know more about it, you can go to the Seattle Hemp Fest website, and that's on seattlehempfest.org. It would take you right there, and the first thing you'll see is the crowd from main stage, which is astronomical. It's just the biggest thing. When we first started doing this, 3,000 people showed up.
Gasworks Park, I think.
For 3 years we did it at Gasworks, and then we moved to Myrtle Edwards Park down on the waterfront. And each year it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we had to go to 2 days, and even that wasn't enough. And now everybody knows we're coming. In fact, we got to such a point.
It's an international event. People
yes,
are coming from all over the world.
In fact, it's a legislated event now in Seattle.
It's a major economic event for the city of Seattle. It's as big as
try and find a hotel room.
And what's that other thing with the jet boat races they have there? Whatever that thing is, that's another big economic.
It's true. It's a big
festival.
Event. It is a big event.
Then we are adding to ours here in Portland with our Seattle Hemp Fest, which is coming up on September 12th and 13th. We have John Trudell, famous Native American singer and poet.
Loved him last year.
An activist first and a performer more recently. And
the Folky will be coming back as well.
Yeah, we have the daughter of Willie Nelson and one of his daughters, and one of the daughters of Arlo Guthrie teamed up. It's Kathy Guthrie and Amy Nelson with Folk Huke. They're hilarious.
They are. They
have
really
great
are fun.
songs like "Knock Me Up" and there's another word for excrement that makes the flowers grow.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll avoid the 4-letter words on our show, even though we do put a disclaimer on at the top of the hour.
Yes.
We try to refrain from going to that. Anyway, we talked this week with the city of Portland, and we're working to get the big area across the street from the Port of Portland as a parking lot. So that'll add enough parking for a lot of people. We have other bands. The Human Revolution will be there. I'm sure Past Margot will be playing.
They've been playing for the last 3 years, I think, for us.
Yeah.
Good.
And others. Now, we have a guest in the audience that we're going to try to get on after the film clip. I thought we'd have him out here earlier. Mr. Bruce Olson, who I went and testified on behalf of and was acquitted by a jury.
Oh, excellent. From Washington.
From Washington.
Oh, yay.
He and his wife Pam are here. They're leaving the state of Washington in Kitsap, or some people call it Kidnap County. And they're going to talk a little bit about their case here after our film clip.
I know we certainly discussed that at the Seattle Hemp Fest core staff meetings. We brought them up on a regular basis, and I know that we've talked about them on the show too, so it's good to have them here in person. That's good.
It is. They stood up, and the first major acquittal Bruce Olson was. They threatened him with 17 months in prison, and if he pled not guilty, he took it to trial. There was another fellow, quadriplegic fellow by the name of Glenn Musgrove, who we discovered during this trial. They hauled this guy, quadriplegic, into court for growing marijuana. Now, this is a quadriplegic. He can't move his hands. He can't move his body. It takes a team of people to take care of him. They hauled him into court on a gurney nude to bring him to trial for growing medical marijuana. And so are his caregivers doing that.
I would have loved to have had a camera in that courtroom to see that kind of a scene and see what kind of injustice.
Fortunately, they've thrown the charges out for Mr. Musgrove.
Good.
He came into our office. I got to thank him for a pretty good donation. It was one of a 4-figure donation, so we're grateful for that. Yeah.
You didn't do it for that purpose.
No, not at all. I mean, God, we just wanted to help the.
Absolutely.
It's a horrible thing. You see something like the police persecuting a quadriplegic man for using medical marijuana, and that's just torture in my book. So I'm happy to fight something like that. We're proud we were able to get our help anyway, convince that prosecutor that
they're full of baloney.
They're going to throw those charges out. Anyway, we have a benefit dinner coming up tomorrow night at 700 Northeast Deacom. That's 700 Northeast Deacom. It's going to be from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. till midnight. So 7 p.m. till midnight, there's music, there'll be games, lots of fun. It's a non-tobacco smoking event, but there will be smoking, so keep that in mind. And so you're welcome to come on down to our benefit dinner. It's a benefit for the Hemp Stock Festival, so you're welcome to that. We have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show. Hello, caller.
Yes, my name is Carla McCoy.
Howdy.
And I live in Portland, Oregon.
Hey,
I used
welcome.
I used to live in Fairbanks, Alaska.
Ah.
And they legalized pot there.
Yeah, the Raven versus State
allowed
decision.
people 5 plants per consenting adult. The crime rate went down.
Yes.
They stopped having the problem with other drugs coming into the state.
Yeah, if people can have cannabis, they will forego alcohol, all the other substances, because marijuana is the drug of choice.
It has medicinal purposes. I was born with a birth defect, and it's the only thing that stops the pain.
Yeah, it actually not only has it increases your lifespan. It enhances longevity, and so gosh, everybody needs to be using marijuana, I think.
And my son had a real interesting problem with his brain at one point. And pot's about the only thing that relieves the problem that he's got now with a tube running through his body. So I mean, there's it's medicinal. It's safer than alcohol. I can sit back and smoke some pot and not want to go anywhere. But I take care of my home. I get I'm cleaning.
Yeah.
I do the regular things.
You meet all your obligations.
I don't have to go out and be crazy.
Exactly.
Well, I can understand that. I prefer cannabis to just about any other inebriate out there. I don't think it's really an inebriate so much as a relaxant. And so we're looking to tax and regulate it here and actually legalize the sale to all adults. I can see the point, after it's been legal for a few years, that production costs could come down to $4 or $5 an ounce for the flowers. I really believe that's possible using the great grow bulb in the sky.
Well, I don't know if you know anything about growing anything in Alaska.
A little bit. I've never been to Alaska.
It has a really growing forest.
Very short season.
It's very short, but it's
a lot of sunlight when you have it.
That's intense.
That's definitely going to enhance the vegetative cycle, but you want something that's going to flower very quickly there.
And that's what makes those bears grow so big up there.
Well, and vegetables and stuff. I mean, I've seen huge vegetables. But on the same hand, you have to have
what is that Matanuska variety up there? From the Matanuska Valley? It's pretty famous.
The Matanuska Valley is like one of the best. Yeah, of course.
They have some of the best cannabis around for a long time.
I'd say it was passable. I've had some of that.
Yeah.
Well, I loved Alaska, and I thought it was a really fantastic place to live, except the winters are really harsh and they're really long.
I was going to suggest that Oregon is a little more benevolent at that time.
As long as you don't mind a little gray skies and some drizzle, you're okay here.
No, we want to tell everyone it rains a lot here.
We know
Stay out of our state.
Don't come here. Come smoke our weed and go home.
And call me and I'll.
We'll soon have pot tourism. That's what we're aiming for.
That's right.
We'll have our tourism industry boom when we legalize marijuana here. And the real key is we're going to open up the door to industrial hemp and see the use of petrochemicals and wood-based paper drop dramatically as hemp assumes its rightful place in our economy.
I have a slogan for that. It's why the trail really led to Oregon. Yes.
I like that one.
I do too.
And Oregon's so beautiful. We don't need to use all of our trees for lumber. We don't need to use it for wood or for paper. We can use hemp. We can use hemp for a lot of things.
We can create our fiber from a better source. We can.
Yes, and it makes more sense.
Yep.
It's a renewable source. It grows faster.
That's my favorite part to grow.
You can get a good growing season. I mean, it's amazing what people don't. What they fear is this like madness thing they had going on years ago.
Yeah, the reefer madness propaganda that you kill your family and friends.
Yeah.
That's how they made it. I've never seen that happen. Well, listen, I want to thank you for your call. Welcome home to Oregon.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Stay tuned. We're on every Friday night
I know. I watch you guys quite often.
The campaign to end adult marijuana prohibition shall begin soon, and we could certainly use your help. So stay tuned.
I'm with you. I'm so with you.
Thank you.
Right on.
Thank you for letting me talk with you.
You bet.
Our pleasure. Thanks for your call. We have a film clip we're going to roll now. This is an excerpt from a British movie called The Magic Weed.
Right on.
I hope you enjoy it.
I think they grow here at least 10 tons of hashish a year, so there must be other people than hippies who buy it. In Jamaica, the Rastafarian religion advocated smoking cannabis. They called it ganja.
Herb is the sacrament of the Rastafari Church, and basically through studying the Bible we understand that it's there for the healing of the nation. In other words, it can nourish the mind just as food nourishes the body. It's like a key that can open certain aspects of your mind, and the brain needs feeding just as the rest of your body does. But for me personally, it seems to tune you into a certain wavelength that you can't reach without it. Although I do understand that through certain meditations one can achieve these heights without smoking herb or taking any other drugs. But in the 20th century, I personally don't have the time, so it's like a shortcut to get to this place to help you be creative. And another thing I find really interesting about weed is how through the smoking of it or the trying to acquire it, it brings together people of different classes, backgrounds, cultures. And in bringing those people together, there's an exchange of ideas, and through that exchange, other things happen.
At the same time, cannabis was legalized in Holland. That's how Ben Dronkers was able to become the first legal producer of marijuana to become a millionaire.
Here we find different varieties that me and my colleagues, we tested out by once in a while looking at the plants and try them out. In that sense, it's a war where people can always look and go back to and say this variety had a certain smell or a certain aroma. Quality is very important, and it's the most important factor where we look at. Always people think also about quantities of material you can harvest, and of course it's very difficult to have a balance. You find plants with very large, big buds, and you find plants with smaller buds. But even the plants like this that have a very small bud is one of our basic plants we have for the breeding of many of the strong varieties that you can see on this side. That means that some of the strengths and some of the important potency we always try to bring back in one variety, and that is the variety that people buy in the shop. And that is the importance of good seed. Is like any farmer could know that that's the start, and then you end up with some good materials. The Sensi Seed Bank grows the best marijuana seeds in the world, I think, for many years. Also, we want to make the best hemp seeds from the world, and we're working very hard on that. For that, we made a new company that's called Hempflex, and Hempflex produced in the north of Holland on this moment last year 140 hectares of hemp, and coming year we want to go to 1,500 hectares. That is the minimum we want to do, and for sure later on we will have to do more. From that material we have produced last year, we're producing on this moment just the raw fiber and the wood materials. It comes out like that. And from the wood we have the plan to make cat litter, and actually the same things like people want to do in England. It's beautiful wood you can press from it, and also some composites like this pressed from fiber and wood. And very interesting, what I like, one of the things I like myself the most is the isolation material. It smells good, you can make it fireproof, and it's much better than all the glass fiber that is all in these living rooms out there. So hemp is the future.
Hemp growing depends directly on contracts. We have to sign first a contract with an industrial society through our Hemp Producers Federation. At this point, it becomes possible to grow hemp. Hemp sowing is made each year around May, and you harvest it around the beginning of September. In Le Mans in France, they produce hemp seeds which contains a very low toxical agents level. Hemp legalization is very precise and obliges producers to use varieties which have been tested and contain no drug. They must have not only a strong agricultural potential, but a very low THC rate too.
That was an excerpt from the British film The Magic Weed, and we saw shots from Holland, the hemp farm there, and Cincy Seeds owner was interviewed there as well. I'd like to welcome Bruce Olson on. Bruce,
welcome to
the show.
Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Now, you were recently acquitted in a medical marijuana trial where they had kicked in your door and then poisoned your dogs.
Yes, they did.
And they used that to pressure your wife into trying to get her to testify against you. She stood up to that. And
that's correct.
In the end, she succumbed, though, and pled guilty, even though she wasn't guilty.
Correct.
And she was afraid that she was going to get jail time. They threatened her with 17 months in prison.
Yes.
Your wife is a frail, small woman. Just, you know, I can't imagine where they would come from thinking that they're going to threaten this poor lady with prison time.
They denied her medical marijuana.
But they do that regularly in the county you've just moved out of, Kitsap County.
Yes, and I decided to fight it. And that's exactly what I did.
Thank goodness you did, because they convicted so many other people before you, just by pressuring them like they did your wife, saying, you know, you're going to do long jail time.
Well, it was thanks to you and Dr. Orvald that is the reason I was able to fight it and go forth and not accept 1 day or 1 hour of plea bargain.
That's great.
And thanks to
you
you guys.
Well, you know, we was happy to go there and testify. I remember at one point, what was it that she asked me? What have you got for marijuana or something? What was the question?
Oh, I have a little piece out of the paper here I'd like to read.
Go ahead. What does your newspaper say?
When Prosecutor Foster attempted to impeach the credibility of defense witness Paul Stanford, an expert on marijuana cultivation who is also CEO of the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, she wanted to use Stanford's long history with marijuana against him. Foster asked him, "Why did you grow marijuana before it was legal for medical use?" Paul answered quickly, which the jury did tell me it was fantastic afterwards, easily and believable, because I like marijuana. I mean, how simple does that get?
I do like marijuana.
Doesn't get more simple than that.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You had something else on there about Dr.
Yes,
Orvald.
Dr. Orvald, this all comes out of newspapers I'm reading. Prosecutor Foster attempted to impeach the credibility of defense witness Dr. Thomas Orvald, an expert in the use of medical marijuana. Foster first asked the doctor about his stated reluctance to prescribe harsh narcotic painkillers to patients. Then, thinking she was swooping in for the kill, asked him, "Why do you recommend marijuana if you're against narcotics?" To which the good doctor quickly and correctly answered, "Because marijuana is not a narcotic."
Bingo.
Simple and plain. This is the only reason I'm not in prison right now. If it wasn't for Paul Stanford and Dr. Orvald testifying.
You're reading from, what is this?
Well,
this is an underground newspaper.
Inspiration as well.
It's
we're just proud that you stood up to these tyrants at last. I wanted to testify for your wife, too. I was so disappointed when she took that plea bargain. I know she was under pressure. I never belittle anybody for taking a plea bargain offer, because I've been through a state and a federal trial, and I know the pressure you face in going before a jury and waiting for a jury's decision. And it's an incredibly intense pressure cooker. And so I never begrudge anybody who takes a plea bargain offer. But, boy, I was a little disappointed when she did, because she, it just was outrageous. I'm sure she would have been acquitted, but standing up to that kind of pressure, it takes somebody like you, somebody with who can
I don't think
Stand
we
up to
realized
these
the power
bullies.
that we had behind you and Dr. Orvald and knowing what was going to go on. They threw her medical marijuana defense out.
Right.
And that's when you guys stepped in. You didn't even know about it before then. Then when you guys stepped in, the Cannabis Defense Coalition from Washington stepped in.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden the judge decided that, we're going to let Bruce's medical marijuana stay in, and we're not going to throw his out. After she'd already plea bargained, taken 60-day home bracelet.
Right, which, they were threatening her with 17 months in prison.
Yeah, they wanted to throw her in prison.
60 days with a home bracelet seemed
she
like
weighs
a bargain.
110 pounds and has COPD with less than 20% of her lungs left.
I know.
She eats marijuana. She doesn't smoke it.
Right.
So that was her. She had to. I couldn't let her go to prison for that.
Sure.
I want to ask you a question. They poisoned your dogs?
Yes.
That's a standard practice up there. We got a call from some other lady patient who the police came to him in Kitsap County and said, they've got a medical marijuana permit, kicked their door in, and they shot the lady's dogs.
Shot them.
It's a standard thing for them to do up there.
We had 2 large Rottweilers, and we had 2 small puppies left out of 13, and they'd all sold except 2 of them. So when Pamela in the morning, before the cops came in and busted them, she put the 2 puppies out and had the large ones in. So when they busted her, the puppies had been poisoned. They started flopping in front of her when she's being busted and dying in front of them.
When they told them if you start
talking to us, testify against me, then we'll let you get the dogs to the vet.
Yeah, that's just cruel.
Let's
wait until the ASPCA go after.
I have a feeling that there are laws broken there.
Very much so.
I would really love to see something.
I went back a week ago asking to be reimbursed for the vet bills. It cost me $1,100 to save the puppies, and compensated for my lights back that they destroyed before acquitted.
So they did reimburse you for your lights.
They reimbursed me for that, but I didn't have proof on the $1,100 they owed me on the dogs.
What do you mean by proof?
That they poisoned them. They said they wouldn't poison them. Which is bull.
They're lying. Hey, we have a caller. We take phone calls, so let's see what. Hello, caller. You're on our show.
Hello.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good. We're doing great.
All right, I got a question.
Hey, you've reached the right show.
I am on disability, SSI and SSD, and I want to know how that affects getting a medical card. If there's any kind of laws, regulations.
Yeah, in the state of Oregon, in the state of Michigan, that entitles you to a lower fee with the state. Also, in the THCF medical clinics, it also entitles you to a lower fee at the doctor's office as well. But in those states, there's a state fee of $100, and if you have SSI or Medicaid, then you qualify for a lower fee. In Michigan, that fee is $25. In Oregon, it is $20.
Okay, so there's actually no laws between the state and federal?
No, actually, recently, just a week and a half ago, the federal government refused to pick up a case from Southern California where the counties of San Diego and San Bernardino had sued the state of California saying the medical marijuana law was illegal under federal law, and the Supreme Court refused to review that. The California Court of Appeals ruled that the Federal Controlled Substances Act gives supremacy for controlling drugs to the states and not to the federal government, and it says explicitly that state regulation supersedes federal regulation. So, the often heard myth that federal law trumps state law is true in a lot of cases, but not when it comes to a state's medical practices. In that case, state law trumps federal law.
Okay. In that case, can you give me some information on who to contact?
Sure. What state are you in?
Oregon.
Well, just call if you're in the Portland area, call 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. You call now, Friday night, somebody will call you back tomorrow, or you can call tomorrow during business hours, 9 to 5, and you might reach a real person if you're lucky. Otherwise, leave a message then, but just call 503-235-4606. We have doctors that will be happy to guide you through that process. And if your doctor will do it, we'll give you information on how you can get your own doctor to do it if they'll concur.
The fee is $20?
The state fee for SSI patients is $20. That's right.
And how does that affect the doctor fee as well?
Well, if your own doctor will do it, it'll be whatever is on there. There's a sliding scale. Generally, THCF sliding scale is $150 a year for low-income patients, but we do make exceptions to that almost every day.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
You too.
If you are outside of the state of Oregon and you think you might qualify for a medical marijuana card, or you're inside the state of Oregon, if you're in any of the states that allow medical marijuana, you can call us, and we have doctors that we can direct you to. Just call our toll-free number at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. There's a number of conditions that qualify for medical marijuana. The largest single category is chronic pain. People with degenerative disc disease or bulging discs, compressed discs, people with spastic conditions like multiple sclerosis or even asthma or Tourette's, people with AIDS and cancer, people with gastrointestinal ailments like IBS and Crohn's disease and GERD, and people with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. All of those, and as glaucoma, qualify for medical marijuana all across the country. And there are additional conditions that qualify in the state of California. So for more information, call our office at 1-800-723-0188. And come on down to our benefit dinner. If you're here in the Portland area, we have a benefit dinner tomorrow night on June 6th. It's going to be at 7 p.m. The address is 700 Northeast Deacom. That's D-E-K-U-M. And it's going to be at 7 p.m. at 700 Northeast Deacom. And we have a full banquet and all-you-can-eat buffet, so come on down. It's there's a fee at the door, and there'll be some games and things, so come on down, and we'll be happy to help you. Also, Oregon NORML has their bi-monthly meeting, twice-a-month meeting on the 2nd and 4th Saturdays of every month. It also is at 700 Northeast Deacom, quite coincidentally, or not coincidentally, at the Village Ballroom. So you can come to that. The next one, I think, is the 14th. Yeah, the 14th. And then the 28th. We have another caller, though. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hi, Paul.
Howdy.
We had, you were speaking about Mark Emery earlier, the activist from Canada has taken that plea.
Yes.
I think the only way that anything can be done about that is calls to the White House. Isn't that correct?
Well, yeah, the only hope, well, you know, there's possibilities of getting that sentence, his jail sentence, moved to Canada. I know he'll be putting in motions. Any judge could do that, but basically the president could give him amnesty or clemency or commute his sentence, any of those things. The president has that power.
Well, I was thinking, if he's put out that much effort for us, I think maybe we might want to give out the White House's phone number over the air for...
I agree with that. Now, I'm not sure I have the White House's phone number.
I happen to have it in front
Calling
of me.
them hasn't done me a lot of good over the years, but, you know, it never hurts. The more people who call the White House and complain, the better off we are. You know, as citizens have to take power and get involved in government. So I'm not sure whether we'll have that up here right this second, but I think for future shows... we will definitely have the number for the White House. But you're right. Mark Emery has done a lot for our movement. You could say that 20% of all the movement, maybe more, in Canada was financed by Mark Emery, and he helped a lot of American groups as well, including the Pot Party. There's a political party that's been out there for a while, and that's been one of his babies. He has been the chair of the British Columbia chapter of the Marijuana Party of Canada, and I know he's helped Loretta Nall of Alabama establish the Marijuana Party here. We've had our Oregon representative from the Marijuana Party on this show, and it's another political alternative out there that you know, certainly is a step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Well, I do have the telephone number I got from Oregon NORML at the meeting. For the
Hey, all right. Well, what is that White House number? Call Obama.
Right. President Obama. All right, got your pens out, people. This is Obama's number, the White House. That's 202 456
456
1111.
1111.
Very good.
All right. Well, thank you so
I heard
much.
you at the start of the show, and I thought, well, this is something that we can do. You have a great
I
day,
agree.
and keep up the good work, Paul.
Thank you. I appreciate all your hard work and support, too. Thanks.
Now, you said you were moving?
Yes, we're going to stay out of Kitsap County in Washington.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why.
You've given me good guidance. Get out of there.
Yeah, I would move. You know, things are better here in Oregon, but I understand you're going to move down to a drier climate down in the southwest.
To help with my wife's lungs problems that she has with the COPD. We're going to hope that helps, so she doesn't have to get a lung transplant. And I did want to bring up she's in with the grandmasforganja.org.
Right on.
Yeah.
She's active in that now.
With Magic.
With Magic.
Ferguson.
And Keita, and Joan Nurse.
All right.
And
yes.
She's very good people. They stood behind me along with you during my trial.
Yeah, we were happy to see her there, along with the newly formed Cannabis Defense Coalition, and happy to see
fantastic. I can't thank the THCF and Dr. Orwell and you enough. Paul Stanford, you guys saved my...
Hey, we helped. You stood up, and if you hadn't done it, we couldn't have gone to work on these.
It did help Glenn Musgrove out. I've got to talk with him, and that was fantastic.
Well, we're happy to be able to help him, guys, and happy to help you. Or any other patient that needs this sort of help out there. You know, that's what we're here for. And Washington has provided more legal cases than all the other states combined for us. You know, we're in 9 states now, and Washington has always been the most problematic. The law's been cleared up a little bit with some legislative action, Department of Health issuing plant guidelines, but still there are a lot of cases that are being prosecuted in Washington State that should never have been taken into court.
They never
should have dropped them. We have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Very good.
How are you?
Great. I had a question. I'm looking at using marijuana, but it turns out that I really don't need any THC. Would I have any luck with just using the male plants?
Yes, you would. Or even the leaves instead of the flowers. You know, there's CBD found throughout the plant, and for most of the conditions that medical marijuana helps, CBD is the primary component. Now, THC is the thing that causes the high associated with marijuana. It's mainly found in the flowers. And so CBD, though, is found throughout the plant, in the flowers and in the leaves. And if it's the same gene in marijuana that expresses both THC and CBD. So if it has more THC, there'll be less CBD. Where the leaves won't have any THC, they'll have a high content of CBD. And it's CBD that doesn't cause a high, but that's responsible for relief of pain, spasms, seizures, neurodegenerative diseases, gastrointestinal ailments, and glaucoma. So if you have any of those, you don't have to get the high associated with THC. You can take something orally. We have recipes to make capsules on our website, and we give them out in our clinics to every patient. And recipes to make butter, oil, and flour to turn any food into a cannabis-based food.
Well, thanks a lot, Paul. And just to give you guys an update, this is Slash calling in. I live out in California now.
Hey, Slash.
Hey, welcome.
And I just wanted to let you know, from that last caller was asking about, 2 callers ago, was asking about the Social Security situation. It turns out that up in Michigan, one of the gentlemen up there was doing a lot of research on that, and it turns out that Social Security recognizes THC as medicine.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot less worry going on now with the disabled crowd that are on disability, because if they happen to have metabolites in their system and it's recommended, it's a medicine.
Yeah, exactly. So, they are not breaking the law if you have a doctor's recommendation.
You know, so I've been getting that word out
and
too, and that's helping a lot.
Yeah, it's not a violation of federal law anymore under the Obama administration. And so that's slowly sinking down to local law enforcement.
Well, I want to thank you guys for everything you're doing. I'm watching you live on Ustream.
Right on.
You might have a chance for one more question, so I'm going to get out of here. And thanks for everything. And glad to see the gentleman made it through on that court hearing.
Yes.
Great.
We're so
Take
happy
care,
he
guys.
fought them.
Thanks for the call, Slash.
He fought the law, and he won.
That's right.
I like that.
He was in the right. You were in the right. You should have won. You
Never
shouldn't have
been
had to
prosecuted.
More people have to stick up for their own rights.
You had just the number of plants that we recommended that you grow.
Exactly.
You know, and you didn't have any usable flowers.
Three plants under what the county.
When I went there 2 years ago and saw what they had in terms of the evidence and the pictures, told them you don't have any usable marijuana, I was sure they were going to drop your charges at that point.
Nope.
But I was shocked that they went ahead and threatened your wife with prison time and made you go to trial. The doctor had to testify for 2 days. I testified for like 6 hours over a 2-day period.
Yes.
And
you flew in extra from another state, I believe.
I had to change my schedule. I was supposed to be in Durango, Colorado that day.
You came in, and although I'm really glad you made it then, because they would have.
And they changed the ticket at the last minute one time, so I had to change my schedule twice to come in there. So they were trying to
eliminate you.
Make it. They didn't want us to make it.
I can't thank you enough through the THCF and you, Paul.
Well, we thank you for standing up for your rights. If you hadn't done that,
for
everybody else. And we've already helped, like Glenn Musgrove. He's been a beneficiary. There'll be more. Well, you lost a lot, but in the end, you won.
We won
and
karmically. We won for the reason.
It's going to come back to you many times over. I really believe that.
Takes care of it.
We have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Hi, my name's Tyler. I just have a question for you.
Sure.
I live in Oregon, and I was wondering if I move to Washington or something, do I have to reapply for another card?
Yeah, in Washington, every state is different. There's only 3 states that recognize other state cards. The state of Montana, the state of Michigan, and the state of Rhode Island recognize if you have a card from another state, such as Oregon, you're covered in Montana, Michigan, and Rhode Island as well. However, in Washington, you have to have a doctor's recommendation from a doctor that's licensed in the state of Washington. The same thing's needed in the state of California.
Okay, thanks, man. You have a great day.
You too.
You're welcome. Yeah, we have doctors. Some of them are licensed in many states, and so they can help patients at times get permits in several states.
And you're traveling all the time. Where do you travel next?
Next, I'm going back to Michigan. Our doctor has to go and testify on behalf of a couple in Madison Heights, a suburb of Detroit, on the 17th. But I'm actually in Oregon for 2 full weeks. It's the first time since Christmas, since the first of the year, that I spent more than 6 days in Oregon at a stretch. So happy to be here. Like you said, got a kid graduating from school.
Good.
People coming in. But we're getting down there in terms of time. Bruce, is there anything else you'd like to say?
I don't think so. Just enough thanks to you.
Well, thanks to you.
Yeah.
It's mutual admiration here, Bruce. You have to do
enough. I'd be sitting in prison right
you
now
had the hard part. You were sitting there. They never threatened to put me in jail.
Yeah, but the jury seen right through the goofy prosecution, and they knew you were for real, and that's what. Yeah, it didn't take them long to acquit me.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you had one of your juries. Actually, the jury got kicked out. Wasn't a jury?
Yeah, one time we were there, and our web guy had one of those. You had that stop arresting medical marijuana patient. He had a little piece of paper on his notebook, and the prosecutor argued that tainted the jury, and the judge threw the jury out, and we had to fly back in and out again.
Threw 50 jurors out and had to bring 75 more in jurors in case they got tainted again.
So it only took 125 jurors for them to find a jury.
What a waste of money and taxpayers' money there.
It's outrageous. They said, your lawyer said he'd never seen so many jurors, even for murder and capital cases.
Right.
So they were putting a lot of money on your case. They really did.
Over 100,000. I spent 42 on it, and what would be the purpose to put a 55-year in jail for?
Well, listen, I want to congratulate you. You want to say anything, Tim?
Well, I do know that Pass Margo has something to do.
Yeah, come right over. I understand. Coming up, this is your new CD?
Yes, it is. We'd like to give that signed copy to you.
Thank you.
Now, I understand this is
very valuable in the near future. Yeah. This is coming out. You're going to introduce this on the June 20th at the Ash Street Saloon?
Yes.
You'll be down at the Ash Street Saloon on June 20th.
Right on.
And you're going to play another song from it?
Yes, we are.
Which one?
Confessions.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. And
thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Hey, we're glad to do it.
It's good to have you here,
Thank you.
We want to thank you folks for watching. Tune in next week and help us restore hemp. And this is Pass Margo. Restore hemp.
Thank you, Paul.
Hang here until it's over. We're almost done.
I don't know what the deal is. I'm so far from feeling anything at all for anyone that's close to me. Forgot about what sin is.
gave up on all forgiveness. Tried to rise up, but then I find more to hold me down. So then I try to find a reason to keep living. I try to smile and care about the company I'm keeping, but it's not me. No, it's not me. No, it's not me. Oh, no, it's not me. These selfish thoughts